Page, whenever you're ready.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good morning. Board of Liquor License Commissioners for Baltimore City. Proceedings will begin. The board is now in session. If you're in possession of any type of electronic device, please place said device on the off or silent mode during proceedings. Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, there being no preliminary matters on the AM docket. The first case, Ling Fang Jiang and Lisa Ran Kim, Jia Corporation, trading as Federal Discount Liquors, 1619 East Federal Street. This is a Class A2 beer, wine, and liquor license, here for violation of Rule 4.01A, sales to minors on July the 10th, 2017. Please come forward.
Let me just advise everyone present that we're being recorded today and televised, so that you're all going to, anyone who testifies will need to be sworn in, and then when you speak, please come close to these microphones and state your names, and you may need to spell your name for the reporter who's down here to my left. So would you folks please raise your right hands?
Raise your right hands, please. Do you swear or affirm the testimony that you're about to give in this hearing will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Yes.
Yes,
Do you speak English?
little bit, not
And
much.
does gentleman speak English?
Yeah.
Okay. So you are Mr. Zhang?
Yeah,
You are. And who is this gentleman?
my son.
Oh, okay. So,
Your name is Li Fang Zhang? Okay.
and is Lisa Kim present?
Yeah, she's not here.
Okay. So the allegation is that on July 10 of this year, that someone in your establishment served an underage individual with a bottle of New Amsterdam peach vodka. Would you like to admit that that happened or deny that that happened?
就是问你承不承认
Yes,
Which?
She admits.
She admit that? Okay. If you,
The young man's name, I'm sorry. I just think
please state your name for the record, sir.
Raymond.
Raymond Zhang?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. And for the record, you're translating and assisting your mother? Okay. So she's admitting that this occurred on July 10. Does she want to explain to the board what happened?
就是问你要不要就是讲一下那天发生了什么吧。
也那跟他说，我就是看他，就是那一天我看他有25岁了嘛，所以才犯这样的错误。我下次会很小心。
So she said on that day she was assuming that the person that came to bought the liquor was like around 25, and she wasn't expecting it, because what she's saying is she thought she was 25, and the guy looks like pretty old and old enough to
When you say the guy, I don't know who you're talking about.
the person that
Is Mr. Sedgwick the one who was the
bought
under
the
21?
yeah, the one that bought the liquor.
I'm sorry, did you say both?
No, she's talking about the one that the guy that came in and bought the liquor.
Okay, I understand what you're saying
平
now.
常我那个平常我都有查他的，都有查客人的 ID 嘛。
So she's saying that on normal cases she like checks the customer's ID and like verify their ages and stuff.
Was it your mother who served this individual?
问你是不是你弄的？
对，什么时候是我弄的？
问你是不是你卖的？
对啊。
Yes,
Yes?
yes.
Okay. And you're saying that she normally checks identification, but she did not in this instance? Is that what you said?
Yeah, yeah.
And the reason she did not in this instance was?
他就说你为什么没去看没问他要他拿 ID 呢？
为什么没有去看？我就是觉得他已经有25岁了嘛，就是我去到就没有嘢佢哋，我到那去到就我呢那我呢未出糧，咁我呢未出糧，再看醫院呢我呢除我呢剛夠醫就我呢我回到嘛就所以冇回到啲嘛，然後去到我呢咁我呢嘛，佢家除啲我25歲了，看上去有25歲了嘛，所以沒有。
So she said on that day she said she had like a headache. So when the man that came in to ask for the New Amsterdam, she said she thought that she looks like like old enough to buy liquor, so that's why she sold it to him.
Okay. Is there anything else that you would like to tell us?
你还没讲什么？
没有，我知道错了，跟他说。
No, she said she knew what she did wrong. She's gonna like pay more attention to selling liquor next time.
Okay, I'll just note for the record that she's had the license for almost 2 years, and this is the first violation. Inspector, have you been sworn? Yes. You were? Okay. And were they cooperative with you?
Yes, they were.
Okay. Is there anything you need to add?
就是那个就是那天进来的那个就是
Okay. Do the commissioners have questions?
No questions.
No questions.
Okay. So on the basis of the admission and the materials that are contained in the charging, I'll call it charging documents here, the allegation of the violation on July 10, I'd find that on July 10, 2017, there was a violation of Rule 4.01 small a sale to minor. I would, because it's your first offense, I would impose a fine of $500, and I would give you 30 days to pay it.
500块，500块罚钱吗？罚500块。
Okay, so I agree with the finding of responsibility. Well, you've already admitted it, so that there's that. But I agree with the imposition of the fine. And just note, you've only had the license for 2 years, and that's not a long time to already be incurring a violation.
就是你
So you need to be careful and card ID, everybody.
叫你就是叫你要小心一点嘛，就是你就是就是你 license 那2年就吃罚单了。
Okay.
Yeah, I will.
And I agree with my colleagues, and if there are any questions, since you are a new licensee, I can slow down if you want, if it helps you translate. Since you are a new licensee and it's your first violation, please know that we're here to help you, and we have a Korean-speaking inspector who can help you with the rules and regulations.
就是问你你没什么问题可以问他嘛，就是他在这里帮助你。
哦，暂时没有。
She doesn't have no question. She doesn't have no questions.
Okay, does she understand what we've determined here?
Yeah, the
Okay.
$500 fine.
Okay, and I think you'll need to see Ms. Russell.
And there's an administrative fee.
Yes, I think it's a $125 administrative fee in addition. Okay.
他说还有这样帮你哦，现在处理些。
Okay, that's okay.
So she said, where does he pay? Does she pay the check?
Should speak to Ms. Russell, okay?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Are there any exhibits on the,
Yes. Would you write down? Medical exhibits for the record. Board Exhibit 1, Sheriff Department Report, Deputy Thomas. Board Exhibit 2, total of 5 photos. Board Exhibit 3, Investigation Report, Agent John Howard. Thank you.
Amrit Paul Singh Man
So
and
625.
Mekhanjot Singh Man and Jaya, Inc., trading as Mr. Joe's Bar and Cut Rate, 1-3 South Highland Avenue. This is a Class BD7 beer, wine, and liquor license. Here for violation of Rule 4.01A, sales to minors, on July the 17th, 2017. Please come forward.
Gentlemen, will you raise your right hands, please?
do you swear or affirm the testimony that you're about to give in this hearing will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, and you can put your arms down. What are your names?
Keval Singh.
Okay, and you, sir?
My name is Craig Miller.
And Mr. Miller, what is your role here?
I was the one that served the cadet.
Oh, okay. Mr. Singh, do you wish to admit or deny that this occurred?
Definitely, I have to admit because he did it, and I will tell you one thing that since we took over that place, we imposing all the rules and regulations which is required by the law, and it was our it was unfortunately that. That day happened. He will explain you how it happened. But before also, the people came over there and they carded us, and even they sent a letter from this. We used to card each and every one, and
So
but we can
this
make
was
sure the
from
next time we
Department of
will.
Health and Mental Hygiene with respect to cigarettes, and that you were carding individuals before selling cigarettes to them. Is that what it was? So,
Everything we
would you
do,
like to make this part of the record?
if you want.
That will be received.
Do you have a copy? Is this your only copy?
This is the only copy I have.
We can get a
They'll-
copy.
They will provide you with
Thank
the
you.
original back. So, Mr. Miller, is that your name?
Yes, sir.
Tell us what happened on July 17.
On the day intern, I was working on the bar side, and there was another gentleman, Mr. Joe, working on the liquor store side, and I had heard somebody come in because we have a buzzer, and he had like walked away to go use the bathroom, and
Who had?
It's Mr. Joe,
Okay.
and I had walked over and I seen the gentleman stand there. I was under the assumption that he had already carded him and asked him what he wanted, but he had to use the bathroom, emergency. But I continued to serve him, but I didn't check his ID, and that would be my responsibility. I would like to put
Okay.
that on record.
Appreciate your honesty. Inspector, anything that you want to add? Okay. Is there anything else that you would like to tell us?
No, I will say that next time it won't happen. And as every day when I come over there, we change the shift. We are 4 people over there, and we always tell them, please be careful. We will not serve to any of the underage, and please check ID for each and every one, unless it is a regular customer who comes over every day and we know him.
Or if they look like me? Joking with you.
I still
No,
have the
the,
card. I still
so-
have the card, Joe.
Now, I note for the record that you've had the license since 2015. This is your first offense. Commissioners, do you have questions? And does somebody have a phone to answer? Is that your phone, sir?
I don't have any questions.
No questions.
Okay. Then on the basis of the materials contained in the, what were given us by the inspectors and the police, and on the basis of your admission, I would find a violation of Rule 4.01A on July 17 of this year. And again, because it's your first offense, I'd impose a $500 fine and give you 30 days to pay it.
I agree.
Thank you, sir. I agree.
Thank you.
You need to hear from all 3 of
I'm
us.
sorry.
I agree as well. Mr. Miller, thank you for coming, and
Mhm.
Yeah, I appreciate your candor.
yes.
Anything I can do to help?
Just be careful next time.
Oh, trust me, we're
Very-
we're very strict on it now.
Okay, thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am.
Best of luck.
Can we go off the record for 1 second, please?
Yep.
I'm ready. Like to call exhibits for the record, Board Exhibit 1, Sheriff's Department Report, Deputy Young. Board Exhibit 2, total of 3 photos. Board Exhibit 3, Investigation Report, Assistant Chief Inspector Tom Ranacolas. Licensee Exhibit 1, letter dated June 23rd, 2016, Department of Human and Mental Hygiene. Thank you.
Joseph Charles Gordon and Joseph Christopher Gordon, GTC Inc., trading as Genie's Liquors, 1107 Dundalk Avenue. This is a Class A beer, wine, and liquor license. Here for violation of Rule 4.01A, sales to minors on July the 17th, 2017. Please come forward.
Gentlemen, would you raise your right hands, please?
Do you swear or affirm the testimony that you're about to give in this hearing will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
And who's Charles?
Can you each state your names, please?
Joseph Gordon.
Okay.
Well, who's Joseph Charles Gordon? Who's Joseph Christopher Gordon, excuse me.
Are you each Mr. Joseph Gordon?
The other one's my son, so I'm the older one, but Steve is actually the person that served the
Okay.
first.
So are you Joseph Charles Gordon?
Yes,
Okay, and you're Steve Gordon?
Stephen Wilson.
Wilson, okay, all right. Thank you. So, Mr. Gordon, do you wish to admit or deny that this occurred on July 17?
Admit.
Okay, and is Mr. Wilson going to explain it to us, or do you want to?
I can.
Okay, what happened?
I mean, I can't make excuses. I was there with 2 other employees. I've been there 28 years. It's the first time I've had to deal with this. I was counting out the night because that's what I do every night, and that's when they came in. There was another customer in the store. I thought he was with him, so that's
So you
how
made
I
a
ended
mistake.
up here. So,
Nice.
like I said, I can't make an excuse. There's 9 of us there, and we've been diligently IDing since this happened, so.
Okay, and were they cooperative, Inspector?
Yes.
Okay, I know for the record that you've had this license since 1988. You have one prior sale to minor in 2005, so that was 12 years ago. Commissioners have questions?
I think 1980 we've been in business. since-
80?
Yeah.
Our records here said 88, but you may be right, sir.
Yes.
Okay,
I've
that's a
been
long
there-
time.
I've been there 38 years, and we do our best to follow the rules and regulations. I'm a former Baltimore City police officer, and there's no way that I want a reputation in the community for selling whatever. We monitor the loitering and keep our place spotless. And that's it.
I believe you, sir.
Steve's a terrific employee.
Mistakes happen.
He's loyal, honest, and dependable. And
Okay.
it just happened.
I understand.
And I also, just to present this, that we do card people. I have from the tobacco people, that we did card for cigarettes.
Do you want to make this part of the record,
Yes,
sir?
please.
Okay, it will be received.
Do you need us to make a copy, or is this a copy we can keep? Do you have another one of these?
No, we do not.
So we'll
Take care of
get a
that.
copy. Give it
Okay.
back to you.
Is there anything further you would like to tell us?
No, sir.
Okay,
Well, one thing, I do appreciate, the opportunity to have a license and to make a very good living, educate my children, and give Steve a nice job.
and we're glad you're doing that, sir.
Thanks.
I hope that you will continue to do it for some time. But we do have a violation here. I find a violation of Rule 4.01A on July 17, based on the materials we have, as well as your admission. It's not the first violation, but it's been a long time in between, so I would impose a $600 fine and give you 30 days to pay it.
I agree with the finding of responsibility and the imposition of the fine.
I concur with the finding of the violation and the imposition of the fine. And again, like I said last hearing, Mr. Wilson, thank you for coming. And
Yes, thanks for your honesty.
Thank you very
Good luck,
much.
sir.
Okay.
I have a question. Are you former military, Mr. Wilson?
No.
No? Okay.
She thinks you have military bearing, though.
You do. You do, but that's okay.
I'd call exhibits for the record. Sheriff's Department report, Deputy Young. Board Exhibit 2, photos, 4 total. Board Exhibit 3, investigation report, Inspector Clark. Licensee Exhibit 1, certificate from Tobacco Sales Enforcement Program. Thank you.
I'm gonna do both.
Solomon Asfara and Alvin Eldridge Salab, LLC, trading as Wolf Liquors, 1642-44 North Wolf Street. This is a Class A2 marijuana liquor license, here for violation of Rule 4.01A, sales to minors on July the 10th, 2017. Please come forward.
Can I ask you to raise your right hand, sir?
Do you swear or affirm the testimony that you're about to give in this hearing will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
What is your name, sir?
Solomon Asfaha.
Okay. Asfahaz, how you say it?
ASF Asfaha.
Asfaha. And, sir, are you admitting or denying that this occurred on July 10?
Of course, I admit it.
Okay. Do you want to explain to the board what happened that evening?
This is better explanation, but I can also.
Okay, you've handed me a letter that you've written thanking us for the opportunity. I'll share this with my colleagues. So you mistook the cadet for a familiar customer who had left your establishment just prior to this. And you said you mistook him. You thought he was somebody else?
Somebody else?
The cadet who purchased the alcohol. You thought he was...
I thought he re-entered minutes ago because it was very crowded, so, and I have some burden. I pay 4,000 something.
Okay, so you've given me this letter of explanation as well as explaining your background and the way that you handle these matters. You've given me a copy of the notice that is in your establishment about not serving persons underage. And so if you would like, I'll make all of this part of the record in the case. Is that okay with you? And I'll share this with the other commissioners. Is there anything else that you would like to tell us, sir?
So in the future, from then on, I am asking everybody, even 40, 45 years old. So I fear not to do again like this.
It's hard to tell people's age sometimes. Were they cooperative?
Yes, they were.
Okay. I'll give the commissioners a
I
minute
think
to
the
look.
only one I missed is that guy. Always I asked everybody. I don't know why at that time. Sometimes it happens.
And for the record, you've had this license since April of 17, and this is the first violation. Do you have any questions, Commissioner Moore?
I guess I appreciate everything that you've provided, and I'm just struck by how short a time you've had your license and how quickly you got caught up in a violation despite all of the literature. So what I want to know is, how are you responding to this? What are you doing different so that this doesn't happen again?
Never will happen again. I try my best. I am just from then on. I am asking everybody, even 40, 45. I am asking
40, 45?
Yeah.
Okay, I apologize. That's my phone going off.
I am asking now everybody to show me.
Okay, all right. And did you take an alcohol awareness course as part of getting your license? A course that talks to you about how to handle alcohol, how to order it?
Yeah,
You have taken that course?
of course, yes.
Yes, okay. All right, those are the questions I have.
Okay. Anything further that you would like to tell us, sir?
Next to me.
Anything else you want to say before we rule?
Yeah, just I kindly request you to consider my situation and give me a pardon. So
Okay.
next time, I swear I will not do again this.
Okay.
Do you have any employees?
No, I just with my wife. At that time, fortunately, my wife was at break at dinner, and I was the only one.
Fortunately, your wife was at dinner? I'm sorry.
She was at dinner at that time. She came back at immediately. So I was handling both the lottery and the liquor, both cashiers. So that is why I was confused.
My only point is that you make sure, just as you're suggesting that you're going to card everyone up to 45, that you make sure any employees, in addition to your wife, cards just as stringently, just as routine as you're suggesting you're going to do it. So if you,
You
if
want
there's,
your wife to be just as careful
yeah,
as you.
exactly.
Okay. Okay, Mr. Asfaha? I hope I said your name correctly.
That's correct.
On the basis of the materials that we have been given and your admission here, your testimony this morning, I would find a violation of Rule 4.01A on July 10, 2017. It being your first offense, I'm going to impose a $500 fine and give you 30 days to pay it.
And I agree with that.
I concur.
So, good
30
luck,
days?
sir. And yes, 30 days, and we hope we don't see you again.
No problem. Okay. I hope so. Thank you very much.
See down here, be with you in 1 second. I pose exhibits for the record. Board Exhibit 1, Sheriff's Department report, Deputy Thomas. Board Exhibit 2, 6 photos total. Board Exhibit 3 is investigation report, Inspector John Howard. Licensee Exhibit 1, letter from licensee dated November 8th, 2017, with 8 photos attached. Thank you.
Mr. Page?
Park, Soon, Kwong, and Yoon J. Park, JJP Inc., trading as Worldwide Liquors, 5910 Pulaski Highway, This is a Class A marijuana liquor license. Here for violation of Rule 4.01A, sales to minors on July the 11th, 2017. Please come forward.
Counsel?
Good morning. Thank you, Your Honor. Stephen W. Fogelman on behalf of the licensee.
Good morning. Would everyone who's going to testify please raise your right hand?
Raise your right hands. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give in this hearing will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Will this be an admission or a denial?
Yes, it will be an admission. Thank you.
Okay. And do you want to identify the individuals who are here with you?
Certainly. I'm licensee Yoonju Park here. I have Sung Hoon Choi, who is alleged to have sold to a cadet, and I have Mr. Young Sun Park here as well.
Okay. And do you want to explain the circumstances or have them explain?
Yes, I'll be happy to. They are beside themselves that they allowed this to happen. Mr. Choi reports that he did ask for an ID, but then the cadet said that he didn't have it or he had it in the car, and he made a judgment call and thought he looked old enough. As a result of this, they've implemented a 100% ID check now, even for their senior citizen customers and regulars. And Mr. Choi has worked for the parks for several years. He's kind of like a son to them. This is not their first offense, and so they're horrified by by what happened. Rather than firing him, they went in and made sure that he was up to date on alcohol training. He's not a licensee, but he could certainly use the education. Ms. Park, licensee, also was certified at that time, and I have one copy for the file.
Okay, these will be made part of the record.
Their business is important to them. They are serious business people. They do give back to the community. Mr. Park specifically has been a martial arts teacher at the Carol Cook Recreation Center, which is very close by, and at the Armstead Gardens Community Center. He's taught martial arts to East Baltimore children for 9 years, given free lessons, volunteers 3 days a week at the rec center. Additionally, in the past, in 2005, 2010, he served at Herring Run Park, volunteering at youth soccer camp every year. They understand that there's a penalty for this conduct. They, again, have started with the 100% ID check on everyone. We've talked about them potentially acquiring a point-of-sale system that is integrated and requires an ID to be run through before any sale of alcohol can be made. But they understand that this conduct cannot occur ever again.
Were they cooperative?
Yes.
Okay. The commissioners have questions?
No questions.
Were there any measures taken since the last time they were before this board on the same violation?
They believed that they had heightened, and you would hope that they would have some kind of heightened awareness after the last violation of 2016. In that case, I don't believe that was Mr. Choi. I believe that was Ms. Park, and that's why Ms. Park is now also alcohol certified. So everyone who works there is now alcohol certified. Now, does that mean as much as the threat of revocation hanging over their head? Absolutely not. And that's the ultimate thing that's going to go off on your head, and that's where they stand as a result of their admission here today.
Anything further, Mr. Vogel?
No, I thank you. I just ask that you consider a fine in lieu of closure. There's a couple economic reasons why a closure, even a short one, can be very damaging to a business, even if it is their conduct that's allowed that to happen. One is obviously a potential permanent loss of customers. Customers see a place that's closed and they may not come back. The other real situation is that there can be, once a place is closed, criminals know that stock is in the building, and so that it becomes a potential target for crime. Nevertheless, my clients understand the severity of the situation here and have pledged that this will never happen again, and they understand the ultimate consequence should it happen again.
Okay, on the basis of the materials that are contained in the file, the proffers from counsel, the admission of the violation, I would find a violation of Rule 4.01A on July 11, 2017. I note that you've had this license for 15 years, and this is the third sale to minor. And I appreciate your honesty about it. I would impose a $1,500 fine and give you 30 days to pay it.
I agree with the, obviously I agree with the finding of responsibility, and I agree with the imposition of the fine, but you are very, very much in peril of being closed, and it can't presage what would happen if you came back, but you've got violations 2015, 2016, and 2017, and I've said before, once is a mistake, second time it's a pattern, and third it becomes a business practice, and it looks like it's your business practice to not card, and that's not good. So I hope that you're good to the word of your attorney and that you card everybody, because really 3 strikes you should be out. But you're not. So there you go.
So, Mr. Choi, thanks for coming and owning your mistake. I concur with my colleagues on the imposition of the fine and the finding of the violation.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Fogle.
Thank you.
I call exhibits for the record. Board Exhibit 1, Sheriff's Department report, Deputy Tucker. Board Exhibit 2, 4 photos. Board Exhibit 3, investigation report, Inspector Clark. Licensee Exhibit 1, alcohol awareness certification. Thank you.
Peter Pleva and Bonita Shaya Inc., trading as Pulaski Liquor Emporium, 6425 Pulaski Highway. This is a Class BD7 beer, wine, and liquor license. Here for violation of Rule 4.01A, sales to minors on July the 11th, 2017. Please come forward.
Counsel, you want to identify yourself?
Frank Solis, representing the licensee. It will be an admission.
Okay,
May
thank
I
you.
speak to the
Can I
officer?
first have them sworn? Okay,
I'm sorry.
that's all right. Would you raise your right hand, please?
Do you swear or affirm the testimony that you're about to give in this hearing will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Yes, you can speak to him if you'd like.
I just want to say, do you have an alcohol awareness certificate in there?
Oh, for you guys.
I thought there was one.
Alcohol awareness certificate that he's trying to obtain.
Is there one in the record? Is that what you're asking?
Yes, I thought I saw, I thought they took
don't have
a
one.
picture of one at the time of the investigation. It really doesn't matter
Okay,
that much.
and-
I'll go ahead with
Your client's name is?
it. Bonita Shah.
Okay, you're Ms. Shaw. Do you speak English, ma'am?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Do you want to tell us what happened?
I want to tell you what happened,
Okay.
if you don't mind, sir. Here's what happened. It's a perfect storm. Ms. Shaw is the owner. Her brother, Kartik Thacker, is the manager. Her father is the bad guy in here who served the minor. On the day that it occurred, her brother, who was in there every day, was ill. She asked her father to go in because she needed somebody there. He went in and he didn't do her any good at all. He served the minor. In August of 16, the younger Thacker was managing and they served the minor. Other than that, since they've been open, they've had no other violations. They're very strict about this. Her father is in his 70s, or not quite, he's 70, I think. And
You're not going to make an argument to me that reduces
well, I'm 75.
capacity, do you?
No, not you. I'm thinking of myself
Okay.
in reduced capacity.
Okay.
But at any rate, he's so seldom there. He might work once a month, come in and help her in.
I'm more inclined to believe he's not as familiar with the process than I am that he's
Well,
declining.
that's the point.
Okay, I understand what you're saying. Is there anything else you want to tell us?
No, we've got to throw ourselves on the mercy of the board.
And were they cooperative with you?
They were cooperative, but we want to make sure that their licenses are in a proper order for us to obtain when we come in to do an inspection. Make sure that all the paperwork is organized and together in the establishment.
I'm going to be working on that, believe me.
You understand, because that can be a problem as well. The commissioners have questions?
So there's a pattern here of new licensees, catching violations.
They're not
were,
new, I don't
it looks like it's.
Well, 8 years.
Oh, I'm sorry. So, all right. October 2009. But a violation August 2016, and then another July 2017, less than a year later. And that's really what my focus is. Something's happening, and you can blame it on your father, but that's ultimately your responsibility. And it can't be the case that every time he's there, oh gee, perfect storm, that's when the sheriff comes in. Something's wrong. And you got to work with other people to figure it out and not come back.
Yes, I do.
Okay.
I don't have any questions.
Okay. Anything further, Mr. Shawls?
No, that'll be all, thank you.
Okay. On the basis of the admission, the materials that are contained in our record, the proffers from counsel, testimony, I would find a violation of Rule 4.01A on July 11, 2017. This being the second violation, I would impose a $1,000 fine and give you 30 days to pay it.
Thank you very much.
Well, you have to hear from my colleagues.
I was thinking it should be more like $5,000, but because you're running away. I'm kidding, Mr. Shawless. I'm just kidding. I concur with the finding. Come on back, because Commissioner Greenfield has to respond to. I concur with the finding of the violation and the imposition of the $1,000 fine.
And I concur with my
Thank you.
colleagues.
Yeah, good luck. Try to be very careful, ma'am,
Yes.
okay?
I told you I have reduced capacity, always try to get out of here.
That might have been a wise move, I don't know.
Right.
Is that our morning docket, Mr.
Oh,
Page?
is it?
Some exhibits.
Yes.
Let's call the exhibits for the record. Board Exhibit 1, Sheriff's Department Report, Deputy Tucker. Board Exhibit 2, total 4 photos. Board Exhibit 3, Investigation Report, Inspector Clark. Thank you.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, the board is in recess until 1 p.m.
Thank you.
Alrighty.
Yes.
Good afternoon. Welcome to the Board of Liquor License Commissioners for Baltimore City's afternoon violation docket. If you have a cellular device, could you please mute that device or put it on silent or shut it off? When your case is called, please step forward to the podium, state your name into the microphone, and if you're going to be giving testimony, please be prepared to be sworn in. Calling the first case on the afternoon docket, Nydia Syria, Bernia Incorporated, trading as Honey's Lounge, 1722 through 24 Gulf Street. It's a violation of Rule 4.01A, sales to minors, on June 14, 2017. A violation of Rule 4.20C, small I, Class BD7 licensees, open and operating tavern at all times, June 14, 2017. And violation of Rule 4.20C, small I, Class BD7 licensees, open and operating tavern at all times, June 29th, 2017.
Counsel.
Yes, good afternoon. Stephen W. Fogelman on behalf of the licensee Nydia Sierra, who's standing to my right.
May I have everyone raise their right hands, please?
Do you swear or affirm the testimony that you're about to give in this hearing will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
Well, starting with the first violation, admit or deny?
I'm going to enter a denial to each, akin to a not guilty statement of facts. Very brief hearing. Thank you.
Okay.
Excuse
Inspect.
position. They need to be sworn in. They
Who's-
can stand up.
Oh,
They're in this case.
You gentlemen are testifying in this matter?
The first one, Gulf Street.
Okay. Raise your right hands, please.
Do you swear or affirm the testimony that you're about to give in this hearing will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Okay. Inspector?
wait, we have one more.
Oh.
Did you
Are
raise
there
your
any other people in the building who want to testify in this case? Because we called it 10 minutes ago. Step up.
Do you swear or affirm the testimony that you're about to give in this hearing will be the truth and nothing but the truth?
Yeah.
Thank you.
There's wax in the ears today. Anyway, Inspector, you want to testify? Sure.
Agent Chris Amalis, Baltimore City Liquor Board. On or about June 14, 2017, at approximately 10:36 p.m., I, Agent Chris Amalis, while working with Assistant Chief Krenna Coles as part of the Underage Task Force, which consists of members of the Baltimore City Sheriff's Office, along with the Baltimore City Liquor Board, arrived at 1722 Gulf Street in the city of Baltimore, state of Maryland, known as Honey's Lounge. Once at the location, Cadet Alex Sedgwick, who is under the age of 21, entered the establishment to attempt to purchase alcohol. Once inside, the cadet asked if the bar was open. He was told no, to go down the street if he wanted to sit down. The cadet then purchased 6 cans of Bud Light, paid the cashier, letter identified as one Nidia M. Sierra, with a date of birth and a Maryland license number with a departmental $20 bill, received the change and exited the location. At that time, the member of the task force entered the location, spoke to Ms. Sierra, and explained to her that she had just served a person under the age of 21, and told her that the same individual that she did not have at the bar to go down to the street, and he was looking for a bar. We explained to her that both were violations, and I explained to her the process. We left the establishment in control of Ms. Sierra and left without any further incident.
Questions?
Very quick. Thank you. Inspector Chris Amalis, you didn't actually witness any of the conduct that was described in your report, did you?
Correct, I did not.
Okay, you came in after you were notified by cadets that violations had occurred.
That's correct.
Okay, thank you very much.
Is the cadet present?
Yes.
Can we have the cadet testify?
Sure.
Was the cadet sworn?
The cadet was not sworn.
We need to swear in anyone who's going to testify for the third time.
Do you swear or affirm the testimony that you're about to give in this hearing will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Okay. Who is Cadet Sedgwick?
Me, sir.
Okay. And on June 14, 2017, did you purchase alcohol at this location at 1722 24 Gulf Street?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And did you ask whether the bar was open?
Yes, sir.
And did the lady who is standing in front of me tell you no?
I believe so, sir.
Okay. Do you have questions for the cadet?
Yes, very briefly. And are you indeed a cadet with the Baltimore City Sheriff's Office?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you're not a full-fledged deputy?
No, sir.
Okay, I have no further questions. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Who are you gentlemen?
Oh, we're neighbors.
Oh. And you were there on that evening? Okay.
One at a time, I need names.
All right. First, you step up, sir, please. Give us your name.
Brian Seal.
And why are you here?
I'm a neighbor, and I've dealt with a lot of the runoff from this bar.
What does that have to do with these violations?
Do you mind if I read some of these comments?
If I may, and I'd be happy to, and certainly I'm sure the board would be happy to give Mr. Seal some time after the case in chief.
Yeah, and we have to first prove whether these violations occurred, and then we can deal with the sanction, whatever. Okay?
Thank you.
If that's what that goes to.
Thank you.
Anybody else from the board standpoint going to testify? Okay. Do you wish to present testimony?
Yes, at this time. Is that the close of the
Apparently,
board's-
yes.
Okay.
Did we cover the June 29 date?
Oh, I guess we did. You're right. Cadet.
Together?
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. Yes.
Do this one too, okay. On or about June 22nd, 2017, I, Agent Chris Amalis, working with Chief Foster as part of the Underage Task Force. That was the
We're looking at the 29th.
the 22nd, correct?
Yeah, the 29th. What is the?
What
that's
do
it
the
says on
charging
there.
documents say versus the summary?
29th, I apologize, I had the wrong one. I have it now. On or about June 29, 2017, I, Agent Chris Amalis, while on duty working with Detective Gatto, Detective Greenhill, and working in undercover capacity was Detective Akawande, all from the Baltimore City Vice Unit, and working undercover Inspector Perez from the Baltimore City Liquor Board arrived at 1722 Gulf Street in the city of Baltimore and the state of Maryland, known as Honey's Lounge. Once at the location, Detective Aquande entered the location and asked to be let into the bar area. The detective was told the bar was closed and he exited the establishment. Notified members of the team and the establishment have failed to check. At this time, we identified the individual that refused service as one Ms. Sierra with a date of birth and a license number. We conducted a compliance check at the location and saw that the 3-compartment sink was not in use. No 2017 trader's license was present. We explained to the operator that if the packaged goods section is open, the tavern must also be open. We explained that the establishment was going to be violated for the following: not operating as a BD7, 3-compartment sink not operable, and no 2017 trader's license. We left the establishment in the control of Ms. Sierra and left the establishment.
You have questions about that?
Yes, Inspector Chris Amalis, during your visit, you did personally witness the alleged offending conduct in this one, isn't that right?
No, that's not correct.
That's not correct as well, okay. At some point, you did speak with Ms. Sierra, isn't that right?
I did. I went in right after the detective notified us, and I spoke with her.
All right, did she seem upset that night?
She seemed very upset that night. She said that she was scared to let him in. She thought that maybe he was a robber.
All right, did she further indicate that she was distracted by any personal problem?
She didn't relay that to me, no.
Thank you. No questions.
Okay, is Detective Akamwandi here?
Detective Akwandi is not here
Okay.
yet.
All right. Well, it's going to be too late when he gets here. Do you have anything you want to present?
Yes, I'd first like to move for the dismissal of the June 29th charge. I mean, we have Inspector Chris Amalis, who's certainly credible, but he simply didn't witness whatever went down in the bar on June 29th, 2017.
Well, I'll take that under advisement. What, you want to present testimony?
No, not at this time.
Okay.
Thank you.
So you're just going to rest your case at this point?
Yes.
Ready for rulings?
Yes.
Okay. The commissioners have questions.
I don't at this point. Could you tell us what your name is?
Lenny Sierra. What was that again?
Lenny Sierra.
Lenny?
Yeah.
Lenny?
Yeah.
And do you have any responsibilities or duties with respect to Honey's Lounge?
She's my mother, so most of the time I'm there. I live upstairs, so.
Okay, because you've been affiliated with other bars in the Baltimore City, and you have your own bar.
Yeah.
And what is the name of your bar?
Trio.
Trio?
Yeah.
And you own Trio?
Yeah.
Okay. And haven't you been affiliated with other bars as well?
I've been working in the city since 2004, different as management, doing promotions, all type of. And
Okay.
working with my mom too when she first opened up.
Okay,
Like
Okay.
10 years ago.
because you're kind of hard to hide. I mean, yeah, because you've been in front of this board a number of times since I've been a commissioner.
It took me 3 times to get my license.
Okay, okay. I guess my question is, or my questions really focus on, and maybe Ms. Sierra, you can answer. There's a very healthy history of violations. And I'd just like to get a sense of why that is, why there's so many violations, really. We've got 2005, 2010, 2013, August 2016, January 2017, and then June 2017 twice. What's happening at this location that's causing all of these violations?
Well, I can tell you about it. For the last time, we be here until 2003, and I believe it's not too much for that kind of business. But in the last time, because I got my mama so sick, and the time she just coming to me to see, my mind is another place. I lose my mind.
She's talking about the recent 2017.
Yeah, because there's 4 in 2017, 1 in 2016, and 1 in March of 2013 and February 2010. You probably heard me say it before. You know, there's the mistake, there's the pattern, then there's the business practice, and it looks like it's your business practice to not card and to not do what's required by the law. And I just wanted to hear your side of that, if you could, please.
Well, I believe it will work into the people around there, so I don't understand why. You know, you can make any mistake anytime. You can make any mistake anytime, and you just continue to work a whole year because one past 1 year. I don't think we don't rule it, keep it working to the community into the rule I have to follow.
May I introduce a couple of quick exhibits?
Well, I'd like the rule on the violations first, then we'll go to the
Thank you.
sanction.
And I
Okay.
would renew my motion to dismiss. There's simply not a preponderance of the evidence to sustain that charge.
Okay. So do you have any questions to go to the violation? Okay. With respect to the allegation of a violation of Rule 4.01A, sales of minor on June 14, on the basis of the testimony received this morning, I would find a violation. As to the Rule 420, small c, small double I, open and operating on June 14, on the basis of the testimony presented, I would find a violation. I'd like to know what the commissioners think. I'm almost inclined to grant the motion with as to the third violation. What are your views?
Has the investigative report been admitted into evidence?
Was it offered?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
There was no objection to it, so it's in for us to consider. Let me see if it was signed. I think I would just defer to you, whatever you decide.
I'm satisfied with the other two violations, so I grant the motion as to the third. Now, on sanctions, we've already started down that road.
Right, as far as mitigation, and then obviously up the
There are other
community.
people who want to testify. Do you want to hear their
Stakeholders.
testimony before you do that, or?
I'd like to make a quick proffer
Go ahead.
on something that involves agency documents for the most part. I submit to you a packet. The top page on the packet is simply a cigarette compliance check that they passed in 2016. But I think that the records, the inspection records, kind of tell a story here. As Ms. Sierra had indicated, her mother was terminally ill. Her mother did indeed pass away on August 10th of 2017. If you look at this record that you have in front of you, you see that her mind clearly wasn't on her business on June 14th when she allowed a minor to purchase alcohol and told him to hit the road, that the bar wasn't open. She, although it's now been dismissed, wasn't herself on June 29th when somebody wanted to use the bar. And then if you look to July 10th, the first report I have under that DHMH letter, it shows, and I believe I highlighted it, it shows that Inspector Clark told her that she needed to get to re-up her 2017 trader's license, and he noted mother sick on the report. Then you go to the next inspection, which was August 13th, 3 days after her mother died. And I don't really want to put these in evidence, but these are the funerary cards that talk about her life. And
We'll take notice
in
of
this
the fact
case,
that her
thank
mother
you,
passed away.
the date of death of August 10th. On August 13th, after she made some peace with her mother's passing, there was an unsubstantiated 311 complaint. All was well at the bar when Inspector Clark visited on August 13th. 3 days later, another 311 complaint comes in. Inspectors Hahn and Perez respond. They mentioned that the sink, three-compartment sink needed to be filled, but there was no other problems with the bar, and the complaint was unfounded at that time. Then, just a few days later, on August 21st, a routine inspection is done, and by Inspectors Hahn and Perez, and that is passed without incident. This one's not dated, but based on the 311 complaint, it had to come after these. At some point in late August, early September, Inspectors Howard and Chase visited for a 311 complaint not operating as a BD7. The complaint was determined invalid at that time. On September 18th, Inspector Clark visited to address a complaint that there was an intoxicated person being served. The inspector noted on his report that he did not observe any intoxicated customers, and he sat, it looks like he observed for 1 hour. That 311 complaint. And so I guess what I'm trying to show here is that you clearly had a very distracted licensee in June, and when she found out her mother was terminally ill. By the time her mother had passed, you see that she's passing these inspections, that there's not further wrongdoing going on at the bar. That is, obviously, your mother's health is not an excuse to abdicate your responsibilities that you're required to perform in order to maintain the privilege of a liquor license. Ms. Sierra knows it's a privilege to have a liquor license. She has also had some issues with loitering, with people loitering across the street and in front of the bar. She has been in contact with 2 security companies to hire security to move the loiterers out of there. She had a policy that was only partially effective in that she told people, if I see you loitering in front of my place, I'm going to bar you from my place. The loitering has been a problem, and I'm sure you'll probably hear about that from the neighborhood. She's gotten a wake-up call here. Like this morning, she knows this is a serious situation. Her record is not good. She appeared before a couple of boards. However, she completely understands the gravity of the situation of turn this thing around or sell it. This is her only asset. This is her livelihood. Ms. Sierra may want to make a statement. I'd be happy to yield the floor at this time.
Okay, sir, you were up here before. Can you come back up to the microphone? Give us your name again, please.
I'm Brian Seal.
Okay, and there was something you wanted to tell us about the bar?
Yeah. Honey's Lounge is a blight on our neighborhood. There are three.
Where do you live?
I'm right next door.
Okay.
There are 3 violations for serving minors over the course of 365 days indicate their operation and their attitude towards the community. But their flippant attitude towards sending drunk individuals out on the sidewalk is the very visible signal of how they operate. Their violation says that they sold alcohol to a minor, and they told him to go sit on the sidewalk to drink it. I sent numerous pictures of large groups passed out individuals all around Honey's to you guys. Should be included in the package. It happens on a nearly daily basis and ends up turning our neighborhood into a toilet, a trash can, and in a few instances, a brothel for those individuals that should otherwise be sitting in Honey's unused bar. 6 months ago, I went out to the owner, standing before you, to ask if they're able to do anything about these individuals. She pretended like she didn't know what I was talking about. The behavior continued. This is the same attitude that has been shown to this board with prior violations of serving minors. They said it's a one-off, these things happen in bunches. This is a disregard for their neighbors, this board, and the law, and it needs to end. I ask the board to send a clear message that these actions will not be tolerated.
Do you have questions for this gentleman?
I have no questions.
Sir, did you want to testify?
Yes.
Come up and give your name, please.
It's Jeffrey May,
M-A-Y?
M-A-Y.
Yes, sir. Where do you live?
I live on Bank Street. I represent the Land Use Committee of the Upper Fells Point Improvement Association. And I just wanted to call attention to a letter I think submitted for the file that we sent. In 2015, there was a hearing to permit the construction of a wall that essentially separated the lounge from a over-the-counter or a carry-out operation. And the purpose of that was to permit people who are in the lounge to not be bothered by people coming in to get carry-out. So when we participated in that, we had expected the tavern to operate according to the license requires, which means the tavern operate at all times that the sales are being conducted. And we would expect the board to enforce its regulations.
Okay. Thank you. You, sir, want to come up and tell us your name?
Kurt Schiller, live at 110 South Chapel Street.
And what do you want to tell us?
Just, you know, I'm sorry about Ms. Sierra's mother, but the loiterers are often the clients that are visiting Honey's. And Honey's main sale item are ones that are going to attract people with more of an alcoholic problem versus someone who wants to have a nice glass of wine with their dinner, you know, and it's become more of a blight on the neighborhood, and it just needs to cease.
Okay, thank you. Do you have questions for either of those gentlemen?
I have no questions.
Okay. Anybody else testify in this matter?
Mr. Sierra would simply like to, if everyone else is done testing, simply like to address the issue of the loiterers.
Okay. Can you step up to the microphone, please?
This is why I stand up, because I saw them came up here talk. So I'm a community, I live there too, so sometimes I work early. And then sometimes at 8 in the morning, we walk down, the bar, she opens at 10:30, 11. Sometimes they're sitting outside on the sidewalk. We didn't sell nothing to them. So you have places on Broadway, I'm not gonna mention no names, that open up very early. They walk up. It's not just on that immediate block. When we have pushed them away, they always on Broadway and Golf. They stand around. A lot of homeless people, but we, in our immediate corner, we push them away. And going back to all the 311 calls, it was a lot of 311 calls we had got, and the inspectors came out and they see nothing wrong. We had a call, we had a bed outside. We got people drinking outside. We had people fighting. We don't have that type of clientele. We have a lot of people around the area, but if you see that picture, we don't have fence against our wall. That's across the street. We tell them they have to go. But recently, let's say 2-3 months, they don't stand around because we told them, if you come and do this, we don't want problems with the neighborhood. We have kicked them off our curb because we just want to keep the business going, not be a headache.
So, yeah, in closing, at this point, they believe the only way they're going to be able to disperse loiterers and people who are sleeping is to hire private security. So they've contacted Brown Security and another security company about bringing in part-time security morning and evening. They understand this is a serious offense. They understand that they have a checkered record with this board. And Ms. Sierra understands that this is the end of the road. So I would ask that you consider a punishment that will not completely put her out of business, but put her in a position where you get 100% compliance from this licensee.
Okay. Commissioners have questions before I rule? Oh.
Yes, there was a letter emailed by Councilman Cohen, and it's not in the file, but I have it via email. If I can read it out, just for the
Can you
record.
first show it to Mr. Fogelman?
Yes.
Thank you.
I know. The way they do it.
Do you have any objection to it?
No objection.
Okay, it will be received. What is it, Mr. Akros?
I'll just read Councilman Cohen's letter. I'm writing to you regarding the most recent violations incurred by the establishment Honey's Lounge at 1722 to 24 Gulf Street, including serving minors and multiple violations of Rule 4.20 CII, open and operating tavern at all times. Members of the community surrounding this establishment have communicated to my office great concern with the conduct of Honey's Lounge. The establishment has appeared before the Liquor License Board on numerous occasions dating back to August 2005. Its appearance on November 9th, 2017 will mark the fourth time the establishment establishment has been found in violation of Rule 4.01A, sales to minors. Such conduct is unacceptable and a detriment to our communities. I support the Upper Fells Point Improvement Association and other community members in their call. Oh, well, that's when your phone just, you get the general gist.
Okay.
That was emailed to us.
Anything further?
Mr. Chair.
No, I thank you.
Okay.
Thank you for your patience in this matter.
It's okay. The, as to the violation of Rule 4.01A on June 14, which all three commissioners have agreed that we make that finding, I would impose, this is,
Questions?
oh, I'm sorry, I thought you were finished. Go ahead.
No, I just have some questions.
Go ahead.
So these photos are quite compelling. I don't know if you've seen
I
this. Here's one that I find particularly troubling. How far is that location from?
That's near Broadway, right there.
Okay, but how far is that from your establishment?
down.
It's a block down.
But around the corner is another bar, just like less than half a block.
I took that picture.
Okay. Okay. So you're saying it's about a block away, and is it your testimony that these individuals that seem to be surrounding this area are not any of your patrons, or do you know?
She's the one that's mostly there, but like I said, it's not right on our corner. But like I said, we're not, in just in the immediate block, there's 3 other bars that sell. But they all hang out in that immediate block because there's not a lot of houses.
Sure.
So they don't have neighbors that call. It's something when we see them on that fence, that's when we tell them, you can't be here. But if they're all the way down here, like a block down, the bar is all the way up here. Like, we cannot just walk from,
I understand.
you know? And then if you ask the local police, they push them also away to Broadway all the time because that's where they hang out. And the sad part, it's because it's majority all Spanish, and it's sad to have them there, you know? But we tell them all the time, you just can't be hanging out here. But at nighttime, you don't see them. So I think, why you out here in the daytime drinking, you know?
All right, Ms. Sierra has indicated that she has never seen these people before and they're not her customers. She additionally would like to speak. Thank you. That's
Okay. Okay. Mr. Greenfield's ruling now. You have the floor.
Apparently I'm doing something wrong.
No. Just, you had raised the issue about the pictures they wanted to talk about.
So let me ask this. Would both sides be open to entering into a memorandum of understanding that addresses a lot of these issues that can be attached to the license?
What does that mean?
Well, it would provide more teeth, perhaps, on some violations. I don't know that that's the right answer, but there's clearly is a community and a licensee issue here. I take notice that there are other bars around, but I'm not sure that those bars come in and see us as frequently as this one. So I just throw that out there. Maybe perhaps not the place to ask the question, but I'm certainly troubled by the record and the photos.
My client's indicated she's happy to sit down at any time and try to work out that there are some. She acknowledges there are some serious issues in this neighborhood and very proximate to the bar.
And Mr. Sill, just to be a little more clear, a memorandum of understanding, for instance, would require security. You know, it would be a negotiation where you security, some noise issues, parking sometimes. There's a number of areas, and I know Mr. Fogelman's familiar, and I'm sure Mr. May has had some experience as well in his capacity, the Upper Fells Point improvement. I don't have anything further.
Thank you.
Do you have anything further? Okay. As to violation on June 14 of Rule 4.01A, sales to minors, this is the 4th violation that we've seen of that. I would impose a fine of $2,000 and suspend the license for 7 days. As to, and you had 30 days to pay the $2,000. As to the violation of Rule 4.20C, double I on June 14, open operating, I would impose a fine of $1,000 and give you 30 days to pay it.
You are, I mean, this is a classic bad bar. And I have great empathy for anyone who's lost a parent. I did. And it does, it's very upsetting and distracting and disturbing. You have a public obligation that has not been well acquitted. In fact, it's been the opposite. And it's causing harm to everyone else's day-to-day lifestyle, and that is not acceptable. Personal problems don't trump your very public responsibilities, but it hasn't happened. I obviously agree with the finding of responsibility. I agree with the finding of the $2,000, the imposition of the $2,000 fine for the sales to minors on June 14. I agree with the 7-day suspension. I agree with the imposition of the $1,000 fine for failing to operate as a tavern at all times on June 14, 2017, and I would impose an additional 3-day suspension to run consecutive to the 7-day suspension. So it would be a 10-day suspension. That's my view.
Just also, in the record, there were not just to make clear, there were a number of letters, including Miss Sysax. I don't know if I pronounced that right. She lives down the street as well on 1812 Gough Street, and I think her letter is also quite persuasive. I would concur with the finding of the violation of 4.01A and the finding of the violation of Rule 4.20C II. For the violation of 4.01A, in terms of the imposition of the fine, I'm going to concur with both my colleagues for a $2,000 fine and a 7-day suspension. And then with respect to Rule 4.20, I'm going to concur with Commissioner Moore on a $1,000 fine and an additional 3 days. And I would urge the parties to sit down and hammer out some kind of an agreement and understanding, because, Ms. Sierra, I suspect these issues aren't going to go away unless you work with the folks to your left and have an open line of communication and do what's really required here.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
The suspension would start.
Immediately.
The exhibits?
Yes. Give me 1 second, Mr. Copeland. I have to call exhibits for the record. Board Exhibit 1, investigation report, Agent Krista Malice. Board Exhibit 2, Sheriff's Department report, Deputy Wright. Board Exhibit 3, 5 photos. Board Exhibit 4, investigation report, Inspector John Krista Malice. Board Exhibit 5, Morris City Police Department report, Detective Elsie Greenhill. Board Exhibit 6, 6 photos. Board Exhibit 7, letter dated 9/1/2017 from Jessica Sayat in opposition. Exhibit 8, letter of opposition dated 8/31/17 from Upper Fells Point Improvement Association. Exhibit number 9, email dated 9/6/2017 in opposition from Jim Cook. Licensee Exhibit 1, cigarette compliance check certificate. Thank you.
Which,
cigarette.
Is that these?
I
No.
think it would all be in here. I think if you'll find it.
From the license.
Oh, wait a minute, here it is.
Oh, wait.
Here it is.
He's hiding stuff from us again.
Thank you.
Yes.
Calling the next case, Harnam Arnesia, Garmohan Arnesia, and Ronald Sanders, Harjas Corporation, trading as Hamilton Liquors, 5418 through 20 Harford Road. This is a violation of Rule 4.01A, sales to minors.
Gentlemen, please raise your right hand.
Honorable Commissioners.
Raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm the testimony that you're about to give in this hearing will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
And your name, sir?
My name is Gurmohan Arneja.
Okay, and your name, sir?
Arnam Arneja.
Okay, so you're charged with a sale to a minor on June 22 of this year. Do you admit or deny that?
We admit, sir, with the explanation.
That's fine. So you want to tell us what happened?
Well, on that particular evening, I was actually on ATM machine, and
My wife, we had just got married in the end of April, and she's new immigrant to this country, and she was helping me out. And we have other employee. I learned afterwards that she thought that person she seemed was over 21. But usually I'm the one in charge of it to make sure no one under 21 gets anything. And also for tobacco, 18. All I can say is that it was a mistake made by her. I sat down with her for more than a couple hours, and because I have taken alcohol awareness class prior to that, and I have been in this business 20 years, I have never been cited for any violation. She has just taken the alcohol awareness class because she just had a baby grandson in New York. She's been there. She just came back because we could not coordinate the proper schedule for her class. She has taken the class, ID. That's all we want. We do not want to increase our bottom line because we want to sell to minors. I have personal problem that I want commissioners to know that my both children, one at age 13 and one at age 16, start to drink. They were getting drinks from somewhere else. They live in New Jersey. I'm a divorced parent. I have taken my daughter to rehab, personally fly to Florida for 30 days. She had relapsed again as an alcoholic. I mean, I know it's our responsibility the kids don't under 21 drink, but they can get it. My son did tell me where he got the alcohol, how he got it. I got to talk to their parents and all that. I have personally, I condemn that anyone who supply alcohol to minor. And I did talk to that parent because it has just ruined my life, my ex-wife's life, and my kids' life, because they both are alcoholic now. And this was just simply a mistake, and she's new, and I hope this is the last mistake, and I'll ask for mercy from the commissioners.
And you've only had the license since May, right?
Yes, there's a new business, yes.
Okay. Were they cooperative, Inspector?
Yes, Chairman, they were very cooperative during the whole process.
Okay. Do the commissioners have questions?
So you just got the license in May, but you also just got married in April?
April 30th.
So here's my question. Are you still married?
Well, yes.
Okay.
Yes, we are.
Okay.
We had some issues. It's new marriage.
Yes. So and I also heard you say that you hope that was the last mistake
I hope.
that she will make. And I just want to tell you, as a wife, it's not. There
Right.
will be more mistakes.
Yes, not on this. This
Maybe
is-
not on this, but
Yeah.
it'll be some.
Oh,
I'm sure you'll be
yes,
something
yes,
else.
yes.
So okay, that's the only question I had.
Anything?
We are on your mercy, Honor. It's a
I
young
understand.
business.
We appreciate your honesty. So this is a first violation. To be consistent with what we've done today, I'm going to impose a $500 fine and give you 30 days to pay it.
Thank you, Honor.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Well,
Thank you.
they have to agree.
And I do agree, and I just wanted to just tell you my heart goes out to you with respect to your children, and the pain of that is coming through very loud and clear, and hopefully things will turn around.
I hope so,
We will
and-
hope for that for you.
Thank you.
And I concur with the finding of the violation and the imposition of the $500 fine. Good luck.
Good luck with the
Thank you.
business and your marriage, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, sir. I'd like to call exhibits for the record. Board Exhibit 1, Investigation Report, Agent Chris Amalis. Board Exhibit 2, Sheriff's Department Report, Deputy Thompson. And Board Exhibit 3, 4 photos. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Yep.
Calling the next case, Wilson Contreras and Morris Contreras, C. Smith, LLC, trading as La Bamba Liquor and Grocery, 459 Angelisa Street, as a Class A beer wine liquor license, violation of Rule 4.01A, sales to minors.
Counsel?
Good afternoon, Your Honors. For the record, Gary Maslin on behalf of La Bamba.
Would
The
everyone who's going to
licensee.
testify raise your right hand, please? Sir, raise your right hand.
Do you swear or affirm the testimony that you're about to give in this hearing will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? I do.
Admit or deny?
This would be an admission, Your
Okay. What happened?
My client's employee unfortunately failed to card the young lady who came into their establishment, even though he had admonished them and trained them. My client is alcohol awareness trained. He has a certificate. He was stupefied and mystified as to how she didn't follow his express instructions. This particular young lady is now working someplace else. She sought other employment. My client is in a process. Any employee he hires is going to be alcohol awareness trained and cautioned repeatedly by him to card everyone who comes into this establishment. It is a very small establishment right on Eastern Avenue. It's been there many, many, many years. And he regrets this incident. He's watched the other licensees. He's kind of horrified about the volume of people that come in violations, and he doesn't want to ever come back here again. He's been a licensee since 2009.
See that in the first 7 years he was clean, and then in the last 2 years he said.
2 years, there was one violation, and now, unfortunately, about a year later, he finds himself back here again. He wants to make sure this is his last trip before this board, and he's going to endeavor to train everyone who works in this very small store vigorously to make sure that there's no further violations.
What is his name, Mr. Contreras?
Morris Guerrero.
Okay.
There's his alcohol awareness
Okay.
certificate.
Yes, all right. I guess I didn't see the Guerrero name on here, so, but he's on the license?
Yes.
Okay. And Inspector, is this gentleman you spoke to?
Yes.
And was he cooperative with you?
Yes, he was very cooperative with staff.
Okay. Commissioners have questions?
I do not have any questions.
Okay. On the basis of the admission and materials that we have in the record, I would find a violation of Rule 4.01A on June 27, 2017. This being the second violation in a short period of time, I'd impose a $750 fine and give him 30 days to pay it.
I concur.
I concur as well.
All right, thank you, Mr. Commissioners. Thank you. Madam Commissioner.
It's okay. Yes, you too.
Mr. Manzo, I can see you over here. I'd call exhibits for the record. Board Exhibit 1, Investigation Report, Inspector Clark. Board Exhibit 2, Sheriff's Report, Deputy Tucker. Board Exhibit 3, 5 photos. Thank you.
Mr. Maslin. Oh. Happy December 9th. Calling next case, Jean Helen Robertson and Jin Zhuang Wang, JG Liquors Incorporated, trading as Federal Liquors, 1537 North Washington Street, is a Class A beer, wine, and liquor license. It's a violation of Rule 4.01A, sales to minors.
All those who are going to testify in this matter, please raise your right hand.
Do you swear or affirm the testimony that you're about to give in this hearing will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do. Yes.
Your name, sir?
Jin Guan Wan.
Is it Wang?
Last name is Wan.
Okay. And Mr. Wang, do you wish to admit or deny that you were responsible for the sale to a minor on July 10?
Feel guilty.
You admit that? Yes, okay. Do you want to tell the board what happened that day?
Yeah, it's not the night. Just like a normal night, nothing different. The guy coming here to buy it, I just make a stupid mistake and lost my mind. I just anti-brand that time. Just they give me the money, I just get an illegal and get it and change back. After that, I feel like, oh, that's wrong. But I already turned around the stuff. But I tried to stop. I tried to come outside because that's the circle, right? I tried to come outside, but he already outside in the car. I saw it. I feel like, oh, that's a huge mistake I ever made.
Okay. Inspector, was he cooperative with you?
Yes, he was.
Okay. Commissioners have questions?
No questions.
Okay. On the basis of your testimony, sir, I find a violation of Rule 4.01A on July 10, 2017. It's your first offense. I'd impose a $500 fine and give you 30 days to pay it.
I agree.
I concur.
Be careful.
Sorry.
Go ahead, sir.
Is that $500?
I'd close exhibits for the record. Board Exhibit 1, Sheriff Department report. Deputy Tucker. Board Exhibit 2, 4 photos. Board Exhibit 3, investigation report. Inspector John Howard. Thank you.
Calling next case, Ho Shun Sun and Soon Suk Sun. Sun's Liquors Incorporated, trading as Sun's Liquors, 1900 West Lombard Street. This is a Class A beer wine liquor license, violation of Rule 4.01A, sales to minors.
Would you raise your right hands, folks? Inspectors, officers.
Now, do you swear or affirm the testimony that you're about to give in this hearing will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Your names, please.
Ho Chun Sun,
And you are?
Sun Seok Sun.
Now, you've been charged with this sale to a minor on July 14th. Do you wish to admit or deny that?
yes.
You'll admit that it occurred?
Yeah, at that time, my wife working there. So my wife asked the age. So, but anyway, she mistake. She don't check the ID. So cannot see the ID.
Okay, now you all have had this license since 2005. It's like 12 years. And it's your first violation, correct?
Excuse me?
You've had this license for 12 years?
No. Yeah, this license is 12 years. All together 30 years.
Yeah.
I work liquor stores 30 years.
Okay. Were they cooperative?
Yes, sir, there were.
Okay. Commissioners?
No questions.
Okay, we understand it was a mistake, but on the basis of your testimony and the materials that we have, I'd find a violation of Rule 4.01A on July 14, 2017. I'd impose a $500 fine and give you 30 days to pay it.
Thank you.
I agree.
I agree.
Thank you.
Agree as well.
Thank you.
See you down here, sir.
Totally.
I'd call exhibits for the record. Board Exhibit 1, Sheriff's Department report. Deputy Tucker. Board Exhibit 2, 4 photos. Board Exhibit 3, investigation report. Chief Inspector Mark Foster. Thank you.
Next case, Doris Booker and Jacob Jabronis, Macios Incorporated, trading as Macios, 1924 through 26 North Monroe Street. This is a Class B beer, wine, and liquor license. It's a violation of Rule 4.01A, sales to minors.
All those testifying, please raise your right hand. Are you folks going to testify?
I'm the attorney, Your Honor. I just
Oh,
interrupted
I'm sorry.
for the
Your
clerk.
name, please.
Candace Daniels. I told Madam Secretary.
I missed it. So, all right, anybody who's going to testify, please raise your right hand. Are these folks going to testify, Ms. Daniels?
Raise your right hand. Raise your right hand.
Yeah, okay.
Is this lady going to testify?
She's one of the licensees.
Put your hand up, please. Okay.
Raise your right hands, please. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give in this hearing will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Okay. Ms. Daniels, are they going to admit or deny?
It's going to be an admission, Your Honor.
Okay. Do you want to tell us, or do they want to have them tell us?
Just for the record, the address is incorrect on here for Macios. It's 1922 through 1926 North Monroe Street.
Okay. Thank you.
I'll speak for them, Your Honor. The last time I was actually before the board, my husband was the previous owner of Macios. His name was Dante Daniels. I've never had ownership interest in Macios. I was actually 9 months pregnant, so and this was about a year ago. So we were here for Macios. So I have a very intimate understanding of Macios. Jacob, I refer to him as Jacob, is the current owner and 99% owner. Miss Doris is the 1% owner. She's here, but I'm going to ask that she be seated until we.
That's fine. You said you were here a year ago, but this license was
For the transfer of ownership.
in
It was,
March.
the
Okay.
hearing was September
Okay.
22nd of 2016.
Okay.
And the transfer was March 6th. I see that in the record. So Jacob has owned Macios. He took over. The license was transferred in March, and in July he got this violation. He did attend the alcohol awareness class in September of 2016. Obviously, him being the licensee as opposed to an employee serving an underage minor, it's more serious than an employee. So I've talked to Jacob. He's going to attend the TAM training on Tuesday. We understand, and I believe that he definitely needs more training with regarding serving the age limit and just the different rules for serving alcohol.
Does your client speak English?
He does.
Okay, so you understand what
Yeah,
Ms.
yeah.
Dan was saying? Okay, thank you. I couldn't tell whether, from your expression, whether you were following. Okay, thank you.
I spoke to Jacob, and he indicated that he believed that the cadet was somebody he already knew, which is why who he had previously carded, which is why he did not, in fact, card him this time. He did recently have a health department closure, and he spent about $4,000 putting new equipment in the kitchen. So I just asked that regarding any fine that you impose, that maybe you can take that into consideration, that he did spend $4,000 on new equipment for the kitchen. But, I mean, I've talked to him, and, you know, we've been in contact with him, my husband, as in we. My husband has talked to him about, you know, the business and tried to help him run the business over the years. I've never had any ownership in Macio's at all, but, you know, I've been familiar with the business for 10 years. So we hope to never be here again. And, you know, we watched the hearings, and I told Jacob to listen intently, and he doesn't want to be in the position that some of these other licensees have been in. And this is Commissioner Moore, and she has like a saying of, is this a mistake, is this a pattern, or is this a business practice? So this is a mistake on Jacob's part. We don't, if it happens again, it would be considered a pattern, and we most certainly don't want it to be a business practice. He's very apologetic, and we hope to never be here again.
Appreciate it. Inspector, were they cooperative?
He was less cooperative.
He was?
Less.
Less cooperative. Okay. Okay.
Can you elaborate?
Commissioners, did you have a question for him?
I did want to elaborate. Like, what do you mean by that?
The deputy sheriff, the interaction they had was less cooperative.
And you were there?
I was there.
Okay. Well, I don't know what that means, but I'll just take it as less cooperative and
Okay.
just leave it at that.
Commissioners?
So as to the thing, I was raised by a 3-star general, and he had a lot of rules and a lot of guidance. And I didn't really like it growing up, but as an adult, it does give you guidance. You get to make a mistake. Although that really doesn't happen in the Marine Corps. There are really no mistakes. They're just mess ups. But a second time, it is a pattern. So if you come back, we're just going to say it's a pattern with you. I don't know what it's meant by being less cooperative, but we do expect that when there are violations or suspected violations, that the licensees understand that the inspectors and the sheriffs and the police, all these people to your left, if you just look to your left, look to your left. Please, just look to your left. Look at all those people. Now just look at them. You don't have to go there. Just look at them. They're all working to make sure that the liquor licensees are following the law. That's a lot of people. It's a lot of effort to make sure that there's compliance. You don't want to see these people again, right? Right? Yeah, okay, so come on back. This is not going well. That's it.
I don't have any questions.
Okay. On the basis of the admission, the materials contained in the record, testimony we've heard, I find a violation of Rule 4.01A on July 14, 2017. I'd impose a $500 fine and give him 30 days to pay.
Thank you, Your Honor.
I agree with the finding, and I just have to say, it doesn't appear to me that things are sinking in with your client. It doesn't, you're his attorney,
understand.
right?
I understand, yes.
Right, it doesn't even appear like right now that he's clearly understanding what we're even talking about, and I'm concerned about that. So you will work with him?
Yes.
And understand that he can work with the liquor board to get really clear on what's expected, pardon me, so that he doesn't come back. We don't want him to come back. Okay. So I agree with the finding and the imposition of the fine.
And I would concur with my colleagues on the imposition and the finding of the amount of violation of $500.
Thank you.
Thank you. Your Honor, I will say one last thing. I do remember you when I used to work for Judge Hurd at Circuit Court, so great seeing you.
Nice to
Long
see you
time
again.
ago.
I'm sorry I didn't remember.
It's a long time ago. See y'all.
Take care.
Medical exhibits for the record. Board Exhibit 1, Sheriff's Department report, Deputy Tucker. Board Exhibit 2, 4 photos. Board Exhibit 3, investigation report, Inspector Perez. Thank you. Ms. Daniels. Ms. Daniels.
This is the last one.
You guys have 1 minute.
Calling next case. Joseph Davis and Jung Won Ji, 11J Incorporated, trading as Bunny's Liquors, 2217 through 19 North Fulton Avenue, is a Class A beer, wine, and liquor license, a violation of Rule 4.01A, sales to minors.
Counsel.
Thank you, Stephen W. Fogelman, on behalf of the licensees.
Good afternoon. Would everyone please raise their right hand?
Do you swear or affirm the testimony that you're about to give in this hearing will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do. This will be an admission.
Okay. Do you wish to explain or have your clients testify?
I'll be happy to explain. Jung Won Ji, unfortunately, did take her mind off of her job and did sell to a person that was under the age of 21. She did think he was older. Mr. Chung Ji, her husband, is normally the cashier. He's normally in the front. She's normally in the back. He had a liver transplant last year. They closed the liquor store down for a month and a half last winter due to his health. He laid down, on that particular evening, he laid down in the back. He wasn't feeling good, and she was there and let it happen. And I think she was pretty upset and emotional. I think they may be able to tell you she was pretty upset and emotional after she realized that she had sold to a minor. They have, on this license, been in business for 2.5 years, since June 2015. This is a first offense of any kind. They did have a license for many years at another location. I think that it's been 12 years in between either of them having any kind of run-in with the liquor board, and certainly not on this license at all since 2015. So they are simply going to make sure that they card more. There's really not much to it. They are embarrassed about it. They understand the rules and regulations of the liquor board and have indicated that this is truly an aberration. So we hope that, very hopeful that they will not be back here again on any matter.
Okay. And were they cooperative inspectors?
Chief Inspector Mark Fossler, yes, Chairman, they were.
Okay. The commissioners have questions?
No questions.
Okay. On the basis of the admission, the materials we have in our record and your proffers, Mr. Fogelman, I would find a violation of Rule 4.01A on July 14, 2017. And impose a $500 fine, and it'll give them 30 days to pay it.
I agree.
Thank you.
I agree.
Thank you. Very briefly, Nydia Sierra on the Gulf Street case is still outside talking with the community. They may take it off campus and continue this meeting. In the meantime, if it's possible, I would like to ask for a little longer time to pay the fine of $31.25. And only because it's the end of the docket am I jumping in here. So
if 30 days went to 45, would that be
I
satisfactory?
don't think we have the authority to do that. I think Maryland state law doesn't let us do it.
In the
30
SOP, 30 days is what the auditors.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm afraid we can't.
All right, thank you, though.
Thank you.
Thought I'd ask. Appreciate it. Have a great day.
Mr. Fogelman. Medical exhibits for the record. Board Exhibit 1, Sheriff's Department report, Deputy Tucker. Board Exhibit 2, 4 photos. Board Exhibit 3, investigation report, Chief Inspector Mark Fossler. Thank you.
Is that our docket then?
Oh, and the SOPs, well, yeah.
That's all for our document. Sorry.
Thank you, Mr. Ackley. We're in recess?
We're recess until November 16th.
Thank you.
Thank you. Take good care.